Welcome and thank you all for joining us today for our webinar, Taking Web Performance to the Next Level. We will share some exciting updates on web page test and how we incorporated it into Catchpoint's IPM. So this will be an interactive session and we will have polls along the way. Please take a moment to respond to our polls. Your feedback is always valuable to us. And before we dive in, let's cover a few technical details. You should be able to see the Q&A tab, chat, and docs tab on your right-hand side. If you have any questions during the sessions, please submit them there, and we will do our best to address them as we go along. Let me introduce my brilliant colleagues joining me today, Kelly, Michaela, and of course, our very special guest, Josh. Josh, first of all, thank you so much for joining us today. Would you mind introducing yourself?
Yeah, thanks for having me. My name is Josh Appel. I'm enterprise architect at Akamai, focused on web performance. Love Catchpoint and use WebPageTest all the time. Happy to be here.
Yeah, hi, I'm Michaela. I am the solutions lead for WebPageTest, so work very closely with WebPageTest users and customers. Super excited to share with you some of these updates that we have coming later.
All right, and I'm Kelly Avina. I'm a director of product management here at Catchpoint. I'm very excited to talk about web performance with you all.
Awesome, thank you. And I'm Pril Kavlak, product marketing director here at Catchpoint. Now, let's take a look at our agenda today. So we'll start with a quick introduction to WebPageTest and Catchpoint. Following that, we will hear from Josh about how Akamai's dev teams leverage these solutions to enhance digital experiences. Next, we will discuss the launch of our enhanced website experience solution and give a live demo of WebPageTest within the Catchpoint portal. And finally, we will wrap up with a preview of the upcoming WebPageTest self-service plans. All right, let's jump in. So we all know how frustrating this experience can be, and yet many companies overlook a key opportunity to increase revenue, the load times of their websites and applications. Page load time is one of the most critical metrics for SEO and company growth because it directly impacts user experience. Every second counts when it's come to page load, and slow is the new down. So to protect revenue and reputation, companies need to ensure not only their websites are up, but also they load quickly and run smoothly. And again, we all been there. Well, at least I know I can get grumpy if I wait too long for a page to load. But it's more than just an annoyance, right? It can seriously damage your company's reputation. Let's take a look at some of the real-world examples here. According to Google, 53% of mobile site visitors leave a page that takes longer than 3 seconds to load. That's just all it takes, 3 seconds. And Pinterest redesigned their pages to load faster, reducing wait times by 40%. And this led to 15% rise in conversion rates. Isn't that amazing? By making your website more resilient and faster, you will protect your bottom line and ensure that it remains available and performant during times of the peak demand. Now that we know why we need to optimize our website for speed and resilience, let's dive into the key questions you need to answer to achieve these goals. First, what is causing slowdowns on your site? Or how does your website perform for real users? To ensure a seamless user experience, it is vital to understand performance from your user's perspective, regardless of their location, device, browser, or even connection speed. And lastly, ensuring high availability and resilience is not just a technical consideration, but a key factor in maintaining user trust and satisfaction. Now, let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture here. The internet is your new network. Almost every business depends on the internet, and it's a tremendously complex and fragile ecosystem that underpins everything we do online. As this map shows, the global network of undersea cables and data routes is intricate. And this complexity introduces challenges when it comes to ensuring reliable performance for your users. So having full visibility into the internet stack is crucial. And this is where Catchpoint comes in. Internet Performance Monitoring, or IPM, is the core of what Catchpoint offers. We ensure the resilience of your internet stack, from the network and protocols to the core internet systems like BGP, CDN, and cloud services, and all the way up to your applications. With Catchpoint IPM, you can monitor and identify any issues across your customer, your workforce, application, network, and website experiences before they become incidents and impact your business. And Catchpoint's website experience solution is powered by one and only WebPageTest. For those who may not be familiar with WebPageTest, it is the gold standard in website performance testing and optimization. It offers a powerful suite of tools for front-end developers and performance engineers to optimize websites and improve SEO rankings. So I'd like to pause here. Michaela, since we are discussing WebPageTest, we would love to hear more from you. Is there anything you would like to add?
Yeah. So conversations with WebPageTest users and performance experts globally kind of found that people use WebPageTest every single day because it provides the most accurate insights into page performance and different user journeys. And they're not just testing those URLs that are in production, so URLs that you or I could access right now. They're also testing those pre-production and sandbox environments, making sure that once that code's actually deployed, you're going to have a better user experience. So you're going to have happier users, but you also have happier developers. So testing all of those different stages results in a better workflow. That accurate data allows you to understand how much you've actually improved specific metrics that are important to you. And WebPageTest has deep insights in a very extensive in-depth waterfall and other types of visualizations that'll make it pretty simple to identify where those performance bottlenecks may be and allow you to understand exactly what's on your page that needs to be fixed. So you're going to get better performing pages, better user experience, happier users, and happier developers. Sounds great, right? But you don't have to take my word for it. We have a number of different companies that are relying on WebPageTest every single day. You can see some of these top brands here. Everybody has their logo slide, but really take a look. We have Google, Shopify. A lot of these huge brands are relying on WebPageTest to optimize their web pages. Take this quote from Cloudflare too. We use WebPageTest as a go-to tool for synthetic testing. You can see that they have a 23% reduction in first contentful paint, 72% reduction in time to first byte. If you're one of the developers that works to improve metrics like this, you know that that's not an easy feat. And they were able to use WebPageTest as their go-to tool to help fix that. But obviously, WebPageTest isn't the only tool out there that you're using in that CI/CD pipeline. So we wanted to toss out a poll here too, we named a couple different tools that you might be using today in your workflows. The poll tab is open, or I think it pops up on your screen too. So we'd love to kind of understand what that looks like for you and your teams, or feel free to drop it in the chat if you have other tools that you may be using. The combination of tools is always interesting to me. But with that, we're going to bring it over to our friend Josh here and learn a little bit more about how Akamai is achieving internet resilience using WebPageTest and Catchpoint. Hey, Josh, thank you for joining us.
Hey, thank you.
Yes. So you mentioned enterprise architect at Akamai, and you are focused on web performance. So what type of performance initiatives are you focused on right now?
We use Catchpoint synthetic testing to create like continuous tests, but we also use WebPageTest to do deeper dives. Personally, I've been using it for experiments to reorder the head of the document, or just kind of push the needle, the things that haven't been tried before, or I haven't tried before, and it does make it easier to do that.
Yeah. So what's the biggest challenge that you would say you face when you're trying to do that? What makes that initiative kind of difficult?
Previously, I was kind of constrained to doing that in the browser, like manual testing. I didn't have data that I can use over time. So WebPageTest does make it easier, and it's also kind of like a trusted source now. I think a lot of people are using it and feel comfortable using it.
Yeah, thank you. And then, so what does that workflow look like when you are using Catchpoint/WebPageTest to do that?
Mainly I will look at real user data. Like I see someone in the chat mention Impulse, that's Akamai's real user monitoring tool. I'll kind of make a profile the most likely lab scenario, and then I'll use that to make a web page test profile and run that and kind of build data over time, and then push it further and experiment with the opportunities and experiments. Yeah, it made it a lot easier to try new things and like get data to dev teams that previously didn't have before.
Awesome. Well, super pumped to hear that it's making your life a little bit easier. So what are your thoughts overall on bringing WebPageTest into the portal? I know you've used WebPageTest for quite some time before you were using Catchpoint. So what are your thoughts on kind of the combination of the two?
From my point of view, it's really nice because I don't have to leave Catchpoint if I do it, but and also just having the ability to, like I said before, run from multiple locations continuously and build some sort of profile that was already created previously to help our customers. Because from what we do is mainly do consulting and try to help customers move the needle performance wise. And it just makes it all around easier if it's in one spot, and it's very easy to deliver to the customer.
Awesome. Well, love to hear that. Thank you so much for giving your insights here. It's great to always hear from our actual customers exactly, how you would use these tools. So we kind of spoke to what that workflow would look like at Akamai. So I'm going to bring in Kelly here so we can talk a little bit more about Catchpoint in general.
Thank you, Michaela. And thank you, Josh, for sharing how you use Catchpoint and WebPageTest together at Akamai. Diving into some of those specifics. Oh, sorry, had to figure out how to change slides. Bringing WebPageTest into Catchpoint's IPM solution allows users to do various things, right? Run performance tests under various user conditions to ensure consistent user experience across different environments, identify potential performance optimizations, conduct experiments to determine the impact before you make those code changes, comparing past and present test results, providing clear insight into performance improvements, or conducting competitive benchmarking by comparing your site against your competitors. And of course, as you see here, carbon control coming soon, allowing you to measure and minimize the carbon footprint of your website. Now, why WebPageTest in Catchpoint? WebPageTest and Catchpoint provides that unified approach to performance management. So like Josh said, that one-stop shop, aligning your goals and strategies across your entire IT organization, from your front-end engineers to your site reliability engineers, working together seamlessly. You can set up SLO monitoring with synthetic tests that help predict and ensure compliance with performance standards, gain a comprehensive view of website performance and user experience with RUM, dive deep into those performance bottlenecks with WebPageTest. So now, diving into that a little more, we're going to do I was going to say a quick demo. I'm not sure how quick it is. We're going to do a demo to see how that actually works in the real world. So let me just stop sharing my slides real quick. All right. So we're going to be using a website that we have that we've built here called our cinema app, right? This is to book your movie tickets. So using Catchpoint to look at the real user experience of that application, we have here from the last 24 hours, you can see that our performance metrics aren't terrible, right? They're almost all under a second. But if I take a look down here, I can see, looking at the different devices that are being used, the different browsers that are being used, that mobile Safari has a much higher dot complete time than Chrome or Edge. And looking at some of the other RUM metrics, we have our location. Here I can see, obviously, everything's in the good zone. But if I want to dig in, I can see here that in Milan, my first contentful paint is much higher than anything else. So jumping over to WebPageTest in Catchpoint, So I'm going to go right here, choose my instant test, and it's going to take me straight to my web page test. I'm going to run a new test. Let me grab my URL real quick. I'm going to do this on a iPhone 15. We'll use the latest and greatest that everybody has out there. And I'm going to run this from Milan. And I'm only going to run one test just for the sake of time. And we're going to jump over here to our test results. And here I can see from my test, here's all of my metrics for that, from running that test on a mobile device in Milan. You can see some of my metrics actually run this second are higher than they were when you were looking at the real user data from the last 24 hours. I can come down here, look at a couple of other things, my Lighthouse scores. Can jump over to film strip, do some looking into the actual screen grabs that were done. I can look at my waterfall, again, showing the film strip. And here I can see from my waterfall, I want to look at my speed index, right? My speed index is very high here. I can look down here. I can dig into the waterfall a little bit if I want to. But for sake of time, I'm going to jump over to my opportunities. I'm going to look at what opportunities I have to improve improve the experience, the user experience on the website. So our opportunities tell you, is it quick? Is it usable? Is it resilient? Well, I want to look at, is it quick? So I can see here that we have 13 different opportunities that I can actually, that we've identified of ways to improve the speed of the website. I have 9 experiments that I can run. So all of these are no code experiments. You can run them here. Don't have to make any changes to your code. See what that impact is and see if that is the experiment or that is the change that you actually want to make. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 3 different, I'm going to choose 3 different experiments. So I'm going to defer render blocking scripts. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to do inline, sorry, I wasn't scrolling. I'm going to do the inline external CSS. Oh, now it scrolled too fast. And I'm going to self-host my third-party files. Now, if I go to the experiment tab, I can always choose other experiments to run if I wanted to. I'm not going to, I'm just going to run those 3 experiments. And again, only one run. And here I have the results of my experiment. So I applied these 3 experiments. I can actually watch videos of my runs side by side, my control run, my experiment run if I want to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here and I'm going to look at the results of the experiment. And here I can see that most of my metrics are actually have improved some, right? But my speed index is actually worse. So maybe I don't want to run all 3 of those experiments. I don't want to do all of those changes. Maybe I just want to do one change. So I can go back to my test. I can choose my test here. Oh, sorry. I can go back into those experiments and I can just choose one. I can choose a different one if I want. So if I just do defer render blocking scripts, nothing else, what does that do? I'm going to go run that experiment again. And here I ran that one experiment and I can see that my speed index is better, but all of my other metrics have decreased in performance. So at this point, I can decide, do I want to make these changes? Are there other changes I want to make? Maybe I want to look at some of the other opportunities that were highlighted. maybe I just want to look at the usability of the site. So I'm not going to run any experiments here, but I just want to show you some of the other opportunities that were highlighted, right? I can maybe do some changes to layout shift, adding aspect ratio to images. Here I have, if anybody has accessibility as a KPI, right? Improving accessibility on your website. We actually identify accessibility issues and tell you where, what are the things that you need to change and what's the impact that it has. So lots of experiments lots of opportunities that you can try, that are identified, some experiments that you can try. Some of the opportunities don't have experiments, but they're just highlighting ways that you could make changes on your website to improve your performance, improve your users' experience on your website. So with that, I think I'll hand it back over to Michaela to talk a little more.
Yeah, thank you for the demo here. It's great to kind of see what it is that like Josh was kind of describing, see how that works. And if you'd like to see a little bit further, we're going to pop up another poll here. I'll share this little slide here. If you would be interested in having a personalized demo featuring your own data with one of our technical experts, and I probably would hop on the call too, just to share some more information. We'd be happy to set up a demo with the URLs that are most important to you and also in those different locations, just to kind of show you an example, real world, what this would look like if you were to use these tools. So feel free to type in the chat or answer the poll there, and we'll definitely get in contact with you if that's something you're interested in. But with that, I'm going to bring it back over to Paril, who's going to share some exciting news about what's coming next with WebPageTest.
Thank you, Michaela and Kelly. So yes, before we jump into the Q&A, I'd like to give you a sneak peek of the WebPageTest features and the new self-service plans. The WebPageTest portal, which is currently accessible from webpagetest.org, will be fully migrated to the Catchpoint portal by early next year. So what does that mean? Everything available on webpagetest.org will remain accessible for all users in the new WebPageTest portal within Catchpoint. If you take a closer look at the new packaging, so we'll continue to offer free and pro plans. We are adding performance monitoring capabilities to the existing pro plans, including features like scheduling tests, alerting, dashboards, and AI-powered smart boards, and you will be able to add team members. And on top of that, for teams that need complete visibility into their internet stack, we are introducing a new enterprise plan that provides access to Catchpoint's IPM capabilities. So really exciting updates about WebPageTest. Make sure to keep an eye on WebPageTest and Catchpoint websites for more updates. All right. Now, we would love to hear more from you. If you have any questions about what we covered today or anything else related to WebPageTest and Catchpoint, please feel free to ask. We're always here to help.
Yeah, I mean, I know we have a bunch of WebPageTest users in this chat that I've seen some familiar names. So hi, thanks for joining us. And then also, if you have questions about, what's coming next with WebPageTest, feel free to drop it in the chat. We're happy to answer. I see a couple questions coming in. One says, is there a possibility to create a multi-region load for a particular website using these two tools? Can you clarify what you mean? Are you asking if it's a load testing tool? And then also see a question from Aaron here. How do you plan on incorporating RUM? Would it require an additional script on our sites, or do you plan to leverage Crux or similar? Kelly, I'll let you take that one away.
Yeah, I can take the one from Aaron. So Aaron, to incorporate RUM as a Catchpoint user, we do have a JavaScript tag that you put on your website. And yes, we do plan on leveraging Crux. Both with our WebPageTest, we do have Crux data, but for RUM, we are also adding Crux data into the Crux report into our RUM smartboard that I just showed in the demo.
And I also see clarification on that question, if there's a load testing possibility. So Catchpoint's not as much of a load testing tool as it is internet performance monitoring, and then WebPageTest very focused on that website performance. So not like a load testing tool.
So to learn more about internet performance monitoring and how Catchpoint can help you, please visit catchpoint.com, read our blogs, and take our guided product tours to explore use cases at their own pace. With that, I'd like to thank our special guest, Josh, and my wonderful colleagues, Kelly and Michaela, for their valuable contributions. Also, big thank you to AJ and Jenny, who helped us from the backstage, making this webinar possible. We hope you enjoyed this session, and thank you. Hope to see you soon.